Hey everybody, Tyraku here, and in today's video I want to go over 3 champions that all free-to-play players, beginners, whatever you are, must have. What I believe 3 best champions that everybody can get in the game. So all 3 of these are farmable from the campaign, so we'll jump right into it. I'll give you kind of an overview and a little bit more information about each champion, where they're good, how far you can actually use them into the game, whether they can take you into the late game or not, and you can decide if you want to get them or not worry about them. But I 100% think that all free-to-play players, beginners, definitely should have these champions. So we'll start off with the first stage. So like I said, all of these champions are farmable from the campaign. The later level of campaign you are able to farm, the easier it will be to get these champions. So if you're doing normal, you likely have the lowest chance to get this champion. Not saying you can't get these champions, but it's a lot lower than if you were farming on, say, Brutal or even Nightmare. The Brutal is more common. You can definitely get it from Hard or Brutal. That's where I prefer to farm them. But let's start off with the first champion that I'm talking about. So on chapter 4, Durham Forest, you have over here on the left hand side, it shows you your drops. If you didn't know this shows the drops, this is where the drops are shown. It says you can get the gear that's 3 to 5 stars on Brutal. But the most important part that we're looking at here is these champions. So of these champions, you have this specific rare champion right here. This one's not bad, but we're not going to talk about him in this video. This girl specifically, Spirit Host, is an absolutely amazing champion for early game players. Her speed aura increases the ally speed in all battles, not just specifically arena, dungeons, or faction wars. It's all battles. So she's in a way a lesser version of the epic you'll receive after 30 days. But her other abilities are amazing as well. Her A2 places a 50% increased attack buff on all allies for 2 turns. Her A3 removes all debuffs on all allies and places a block debuff for 1 turn. Now, this is amazing on dragons, where the dragon puts out the poisons and the weakens and a bunch of debuffs. Spirit Host works amazing. You book this down, it's a 5-turn cooldown. Rare books are extremely easy to get, so she is definitely worth investing some books into. This champion specifically, you will be able to take to level 50. You could even take her to level 60 if you don't have somebody who could do these block debuffs. But definitely a champion I believe worth taking to level 50. 5-star Ascension, you'll use her for quite a bit of the game. She's just great synergy with all players in general. I mean, this increased attack, I'll show you later, actually works amazing inside of the arena. Now, if you are somebody who tunes into my stream, then you'll probably have heard me talk about all these champions, probably more than you'd like to hear, but these champions are amazing. Her A1 attacks one enemy, heals about 50% of the damage inflicted. She's not a massive damage dealer, so that's not really a huge benefit, or that's not really negative or benefit, so we're not worried about that ability. If you do decide to book her up and use your rare books on her, if you get this one and this one, so they're A2 and A3 booked, don't even worry about spending any more books. This damage boost isn't worth it. So essentially, if you're lucky, she can only take 2 books to get her to the level you want her to be at. Now, jumping off of Spirit Host and going on to the next champion that I 100% believe is worth farming for is War Maiden. Now, of this list, I believe War Maiden is probably one of the best in my opinion. War Maiden is a attack-based champion. Her ability 1 has a 30% chance of placing a 2.5% poison. Now, you see right here, none of the books have the chance to increase the debuff likelihood or anything like that, so it's not really worth booking this. Like if you can land the books specifically on her A3, that's great. And then just stop booking her from there. These other 2 abilities aren't worth investing any books into. Okay, what I was saying about War Maiden, her A1, it does place only a 2.5% poison, so it's actually not the higher end of poison, which is a 5%. So you wouldn't bring her into a like clan boss or any dungeons specifically for her poison. It's not bad, but it's definitely not great, like I said. Her ability 2 definitely is not anything spectacular. It gives her a 50% increased attack buff, which is definitely not bad, and it places an extra hit if it's a critical hit. So definitely not bad, but this is where she really shines, is her A3. And now where it's especially good is whenever it's ascended 3 stars, because it turns into attacks all enemies and has a 75% chance. When booked, it's a 100% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. And this is absolutely amazing. This makes War Maiden extremely viable in anything from dungeons. The wave clears helps you get the waves a little bit weaker, so your other AoE or your other champions can clear out the waves even faster. Helps extremely on the clan boss, helps you do more damage. Great in the arena for burst teams, which I'll get into a little bit later in this video and show you kind of like what the team structure is with some characters like this. Now, if you can get 4 books to land specifically on this ability, don't book her anymore. If you can get down to this cooldown reduction, this is a 3-turn cooldown, AoE decreased defense, an absolutely amazing champion to farm for because you definitely get her. You may have to invest a decent amount of energy, but you just take some food with you. So take your main character and 3 others to level up. Spend some time on this stage, whether it's on hard preferably or even brutal. Brutal will be the most optimal choice, but if you're a beginning player, hard's fine too. Spend some time in here until you get War Maiden. It didn't take me too long to get her, but she is, like I said, 100% worth it. Now, the third champion, who is an amazing beginner champion and one you should definitely invest some time into getting, and will likely be the easiest to get just because 12-3, so chapter 12, stage 3, is typically the stage most people farm because it gives the most experience and silver ratios, is the champion that you will be looking for is Diablos. Now, the reason why Diablos is amazing is primarily because of her A2 and A3 abilities. Her A1, like the other 2 examples we've shown, isn't amazing, but it's definitely not terrible. Hers is pretty much on the lower end of things. Attacks one enemy, has a 10% chance of placing a sleep debuff. If it lands, great. It's a low chance. When booked, it goes up to 20% chance, but that's not what we're here to see. Her A2 is what's super good. Attacks all enemies, places a 30% increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns. And when you get it booked, it goes down to a 3-turn cooldown. This kind of makes Diablos a mini apothecary, just without the heals or the 3 hits on our A1. So she has a similar abilities to apothecary as it increases your team's speed, which makes her extremely useful in things like the clan boss, arenas, dungeons. She's an excellent champion to put in any of your lineups until you get somebody like apothecary. And since apothecary is like a legendary in terms of actually pulling them from shards, he's so difficult to get. Like I know a ton of accounts who have all kinds of different legendaries, all kinds of epics, but they don't have apothecary, which is a rare. You would think he'd be easy to get, but that's not the case apparently. So Diablos, excellent rare to farm. You can definitely get her pretty easily, and this is an excellent ability for everywhere in the game. Her A3 is also amazing. Once you get it ascended is where it really shines in things like the arena. It fills the turn meter of all allies by 15% and decreases the turn meter of all allies by 15%. This is on a 4-turn cooldown when it's fully booked, so like these other champions, she's definitely worth investing some books into. If you can get them on the A3 and the A2, stop booking her. The A1's not a big deal. You don't really want to put books into this, but since you can't choose, just if you get lucky enough for them to land in these 2, stop booking her. And now this ability, I really like using it in arena. Sometimes I like using it first, so then it decreases their turn meter and gives my team more likely they'll go first. So let's jump into some content and show you exactly how this team works. Actually, first off, before I show you how the team works inside of places in the game, let me show you a little bit about how I have them geared. So on my team, I like for Spirit Host to go first. The reason why is because she puts up this strengthen buff, so increases allies attack by 50%. So then whenever Diablos goes, using her Electric Storm, the A2, this is based off of attack, so you can see damage based on attack. So attacks all enemies, does a little bit more damage because she has that extra 50% attack, and then it places the increased speed. Now, when you're gearing your champions, so these 3 champions, in this case, I said Spirit Host is going to be the fastest. You can check the speeds of your champions by going down here and the total stats, hit the little I button, and you can see right here, speed is 168. If I go to Diablos, her speed is 160. And then if I go to War Maiden, her speed is 138. So I have Spirit Host the quickest, Diablos the second fastest, and then War Maiden the third quickest. And specifically in arena, this is a bigger deal because your last person to go, you want to be your big nuker basically. So typically this is like an Aethel, a Kale, Elhain. Any of your starters is typically the nuker. If you pulled somebody else, that can be the person who does that big hit at the end. But in my case, it's Kale, and you look at his speed, it's only 129. So that's how my team structure is. Let's see what exactly the gear I have on Spirit Host. I'm not really worried about like super special star rating on my gears. The biggest thing I'm wanting is speed. I try to get as much gear with speed on it. As you can see, my boots have 35 speed. I got all speed sets, one broken set, which is no problem at all. There's attack percent on the gloves, not optimal main stats, but this is enough to help you get to, like, say, Silver Arena, which is like impossible to get to for beginner players because bronze, for some reason, is so difficult. But jumping from Spirit Host to Diablos, we also have a bunch of speed gear on her. We have a speed boot set, and we have some accuracy. The reason why I have accuracy on Diablos is because of her A3 ability. This ability, if you do not have very much accuracy, you will not decrease the target's turn meter. So this is why I don't use this ability first all the time. Sometimes I do, but typically I prefer A2 because it's guaranteed to give you what you want. It's guaranteed to give you this 30% increased speed, while this is guaranteed to increase your allies' turn meters, but it's not guaranteed to decrease the turn meter of your enemies. They can resist it if they have higher resist, and it can be resisted in general. So you definitely want to put some accuracy on her, but you don't need a ton necessarily, especially if you're using her A2 ability first. So put some HP there. The biggest thing with Spirit Host and Diablos, especially in Arena specifically, and this is where I really like them at, is you just want them to have one turn. You're not necessarily worried about them keep going, like turn after turn after turn. If they can go more, that's great, but this team really shines in like a one-turn kill, basically, and I'll give you an example of that in just a second. Now, with War Maiden, I do have War Maiden a bit better geared, definitely, a little bit more away from speed. She does still have speed boots. They're not level 16 yet, so I definitely get a lot more speed if I take those to 16. But her other gear, I got some crit rate sets. I wanted her crit rate to get up because, like you've seen earlier, this hit places an extra hit if the attack's critical, which is great. We'll take those extra hits whenever possible. But her gloves, HP, we got accuracy here. The accuracy is for placing the decreased defense as well as the poison. You definitely want a lot of accuracy on War Maiden. You see here I got 106. It lands pretty often. If I start going into higher level dungeons, I definitely want more than 106. If you're seeing your debuffs get resisted a lot, go in, increase your accuracy, put an accuracy chest piece on her, and see if they stop getting resisted. Because the accuracy is what causes things to land or get resisted. I got accuracy on some of my substats as well, like the weapon, 22 accuracy, so this is really good gear for War Maiden. And then my starter is just geared out for, primarily for the campaign. He's not geared out strictly for attack, which if he was, he would hit a lot harder in the arena. But let me jump over to the arena and show you exactly how this team works. Now, I'm going to have to hope for the best and hope that I pick a team that I can actually kill in one shot because I only have one token. So, we are going to look at this team, hope for the best. This team obviously has more power than me. Typically, bronze has very difficult matchups. Very difficult for whatever reason. This team has more power than me, but if we go first, we'll most likely kill several of their people. But like I said, it all depends on if we go first. Great, so we're going first. So I'm going to use the 50% attack buff, my whole team. Then we're going to increase the speed, do a little bit of damage to them. And then this is where the big damage starts coming in. If the decreased defense lands, okay, these people should die. And very quickly. Okay, yeah. So it's an absolutely amazing team comp for arenas, low-level arenas, especially in bronze. Bronze is so difficult to get out of. And I'll make a more in-depth video on exactly how you can gear these people to get them out of bronze. Specifically whenever I get out of bronze on this account. Because right now I still am bronze 4. I need more arena tokens and I'll be able to get into silver. But getting to silver is actually a mission that you have, and a lot of people have been stuck on this mission. So I want to help people actually be able to pass that mission to continue on all of their other ones. Later on, it's like get 50 medals from silver, so we'll address that when we get to that point. But those are the 3 champions that I believe all free-to-play players, beginners, whatever you are, definitely should try to get. There's only a few cases where you don't need those champions. But even outside of the arena, like I just shown you, all those champions are great on like the clan boss. They all have their benefits there. They all have their benefits in dungeons, especially the dragon. So you can go make it pretty far in the dragon's lair just with those champions. Let's take out these 2 and show you what Spirit Host does. So we'll increase the speed, put Kale down there. We'll have the 2 champions I talked about, and we'll go ahead and see how this works. Like I said, their damage is crazy. Your team's gonna go very fast. You got these speed buffs. The decreased defense that War Maiden put up just now, huge help in clearing out these waves very quick, especially when you pair them with your starter, who typically does a lot of damage on burst. You can just mow through these waves, no problem whatsoever. these waves could definitely give us some trouble if we didn't have this strong of a team group. Plus, this is the weak affinity. It's force affinity. So magic should have a more difficult time going through, which Kale is magic based. So overall, like I said, these 3 champions can definitely be used in a lot of the game content. You definitely won't regret putting some time into actually farming to get them. My, Definitely the top 3 champions from the campaign. They don't take very long to farm typically. I did have to spend quite a bit of time getting, I think it was War Maiden on my other account. I had to spend probably 500 plus energy, but definitely worth it. Like I said, just take some food in there with you, level up the food as you go through, and time you get done, you'll have War Maiden hopefully, and some leveled up characters. So like I said, this is Force Affinity Dungeon, so they did die. I'll just take them up a little bit higher level. I could switch out Sinesha for somebody else, but that gives you a decent idea as how effective they are as far as wave clears. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Hopefully you take something from it and you see the reason why you should get those 3 characters I mentioned, and not just understanding that they are good, but actually understanding why you should get them, how you should build them. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe. And I'll be posting more videos. If you have any video suggestions, let me know. I do stream on Twitch live every day from 11 p.m. to about 3 a.m. Eastern time. We work on our free-to-play account. Sometimes I get on my main account, but it's typically just on these free-to-play accounts. But thank you very much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.